So we officially started recording this webinar for healing our love gene. Thank you everyone who showed up here. Thank you everyone who's gonna watch this on replay. And before I go into what I prepared for you today, I wanna use this opportunity to talk about my today's lessons, because I always say that things happen for a reason, and that every single thing in life that is happening is trying to teach us something, is trying to get us to understand something that we haven't seen before. And one of the things that I work on a lot, especially with people that are trying to expand their business, or they're trying to dive into a new field or doing something new, is the upper limit problem. The upper limit problem was actually explained by, I don't know the author. Yeah, I'll check this out. But it's actually in the book, The Big Leap. So whoever wrote this book is the author of that term. And what's actually happening with the upper limit problem, I believe it's connected with our love gene, because we are used to receive a certain amount of love. We are used to receive a certain amount of happiness, a certain amount of joy, a certain amount of money, a certain amount of friendships, a certain amount of help. And anytime that we wanna go above our certain limit, what usually happens is that upper limit problem, which goes into that we kind of manifest something to screw it up so that we go back to where we are used to be. So this is also called like having the internal thermostat, which is on the certain temperature, and as soon as the temperature go above a little bit, something happens that it goes back to the center. And what happened today with me is that I was totally fine for the past few weeks. I was working, I was having so much fun. I felt like everything is coming together. I was really excited for this webinar. It's something that I've been working on for the past 2 years, and it just makes me so excited to share it with you guys. And what happened was that as soon as everything was okay until this morning, when I woke up and I felt a little bit weird. And then as the day went by, I started having a cold and my nose started running, and I started feeling like, oh, maybe I'll have a fever. And the funniest thing is that this always happens when you are about to expand, when you are about to do something different. And it's kind of like your body is trying to protect you from not doing the next big thing, because we never know what this thing will bring you or what this thing will actually create in your life. So it's kind of like basically a safety tool that we have within, which is not really useful, that is trying to hold us back. And I feel like this cold was actually that. And for some part, I was actually buying into it, and I was like, oh no, everything goes wrong when I need it to go right. And then I remember it. And we're gonna talk about awareness a lot today. If you have the awareness about something, if you know that this is a problem, this is actually something that it's like, you know, when you feel like, oh, something is happening, and when you spot it, that's when you're able to shift. That's when you're able to see it from the other perspective and just recognize it for what it is, but at the same time, say to yourself, like, this is not gonna stop me. And when I realized what's happening with my body, I was just like, you know what? This is just another sign that I have to just do it authentically as I feel like doing it. Because often I feel like it has to be perfect, but when we try to do it perfect, we are pushing ourselves too much, and then sometimes we are receiving the opposite effect. But anyway, what Nicole is saying, this is happening to me all the time. Isn't? Yes, 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 yes. That's a very good point. It's like your body wants to get the negative energy out. And for those of you that are familiar with healings, which is something that we're going to talk a lot about today, is when we do a healing, when we upgrade to a next level, the new things, I mean, the old things has to leave. And often it happens that when we do the healing for our body, that all of a sudden, I mean, we do the mental healing, we do the healing of our limiting beliefs, but all of a sudden our body feels like, hey, I want to eliminate that. Let's have a cold. Let's, you know, sweat a lot, whatever it is. But yeah, this is very common. So now let's go straight to the point. You won't believe this, but I actually made some slides for this webinar, which is something so not common for me, but now I have to figure out how to share my screen. Okay, start share. Here you go. Oh, that was easy. Okay. So now you probably still see myself, and you also see these slides that I made. Let me just can I get you a little bit away so I can, where can I put the, I really need someone that will just take care of my technology. Hey, why don't you just, play. Whoops. Okay, never mind. So, healing the love gene. The first thing that we have to address is how to get this on the next slide. Seriously, you see, when you want things to go perfect, they don't go perfect. Oh, now it happened, but I paused. Okay. Anyway, so the first thing we need to address is, what is the love gene? And I feel like this was actually the #1 question that I received after I started talking about love gene on my IG. And I would say that I use the term love gene probably because of my personal background. So for those of you who don't know me too well, is I used to study biochemistry. I have a bachelor in biochemistry, and then I have a master in molecular nutrition. So my passion all the time has been to actually understand what's happening in the deepest part of our body. So I always wanted to know what's happening in the cell. I wanted to know what's happening in our DNA. I really wanted to dive in, and like that was it. But the funniest thing is that I thought that science will give me everything I need. I really used to believe that science will help me like decode what love is and help me resolve all my issues. And I only wanted to follow things that are scientifically proven. But then through my personal journey, I actually realized that nothing is scientifically proven 100%. When I started working in the lab and we started doing the research, and I saw how basically research are done and how you never really know what's happening behind, and you cannot rely on many sources that are out there. And it was also that, like, I couldn't see my body and myself as only, this is my body and this is my brain and this is how I function and this is my life. I knew that there's something more. I knew that there is energy behind it. I knew that there must be something else that is running this body and that is, that is giving me all those emotions. So I slowly started diving into the whole personal development, and also realizing what are limiting beliefs or what are beliefs in general. So first, to cover that, beliefs are anything that is like that you believe. So any thought that you keep on repeating for so long that it just becomes normal for you. And it's funny because often we feel like that beliefs are common, that we have similar ones, But there are some of them that are common, I mean, that are everywhere, but there's many of them that are strictly yours. And that's why we feel like we are different than others and that they don't get us and all those stuff. We'll get to that afterwards. So to kind of classify what love gene is, I call it a formulation of beliefs that is stored within our DNA and that is influencing our perception of love. So everything that is stored within our DNA around love, what love is, how to get it, who do we have to be to get it, when are we not deserving love, when are we not worthy of love, all those things about when is actually okay to love someone, or when it's okay to love ourselves and when it's not. So all those rules are stored somewhere within us. And why I'm using the love gene and the DNA specifically is a lot of people are saying that, you know, some of the beliefs are just like they're created in your brain, and then it's like you have these neural connections here, and because of that neural connections, because there are certain paths that we are used to, certain thoughts that we are used to think all the time, those neural connections are wired to yourself, wired together, and that's what make them being there. But I don't 100% agree with all of that, because I do believe that the actual origin of the thoughts is happening before we're even aware of it, before we are even in this physical body. I'll explain now. So I don't know if you still see my video, but I'm just like really trying to explain everything with my hands like I usually do. So why is this? Oh, I wanted this one. I'll go back to the other one afterwards. So what I want to cover is where are all those beliefs coming from, and why do I believe that it's not just our DNA, that it's mainly stored within our DNA. So DNA is within every cell of our body, which means like if we have a limiting belief, a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's something that is happening in your brain. And I believe it's something that is happening in your entire body, in every single cell that you have. What this means is that when you are consciously trying to change your beliefs, and let's say you're having a belief that you're not good enough, or that you don't deserve this, or that, I don't know, that you are bad with English. That was mine. Like I was always saying that I'm so bad with English. When you consciously want to change that and you just say to yourself, you know what, my English actually pretty good. If I just keep on saying that to myself, it's not necessarily that I'm just going to be able to shift my belief. What's actually happening is that even though I'm consciously thinking about it, consciousness, like my conscious brain, are only around 10% of everything that I'm thinking. Most of the things are subconscious, and even more, most of our cells have their own willpower, their own DNA, where limiting beliefs are stored, and they're used to doing things in a certain way. And to actually heal something from a body, now we're going back to where we started, to heal something from a body, it starts with being aware of the thing, healing it with any kind of techniques that is working for you. And once you heal it, your body will have to heal it. That's what we were saying, that this is cleansing. This is my body getting rid of the old energy because I'm upgrading to something new. So this is actually like a very, very, how should I say? It's like a 3-way step or even more, that like the healing has to happen. And that's why I'm often saying that motivation and the personal development, where people are just saying, yeah, just jump around and tell yourself that you are happy and you will always be happy and that's how everything will go. And if you can't do something, just motivate yourself to do something. This is only going to work for a short term, because sooner or later, your whole body will start telling you how it actually feels and you will have to listen. So, as I said, I believe that those limiting beliefs came from before we actually were in this body. So let me explain this, because I know for some people it seems like, whoa, what is this? I believe that the original cause is actually a real thing. You know, Adam and Eve, when they sold that apple from the tree and the God punished them, and they started, that was the point where this earth or whatever started having the contrast, and we started having dark and light, and everything was like 50% of negative, 50% of positive. Well, even though this is religious, and we're not going to talk about religious here, no worries. This is religious. It still has to originate from something. And in spirituality, a lot of different mystics and a lot of different gurus were explaining this situation of the original cause, that it actually exists not in a way that they made it in Bible, but in an actual way of our soul coming into this body. So imagine you as a soul. What is soul? Soul is like limitless energy. It's just energy, it's everywhere. It's like electricity. You have electricity everywhere, you don't see it, but when you plug in the toaster has electricity. So when you are plugged in, like this is you now, the toaster, plugged into the universe, the soul came here, and all of a sudden you have the electricity, you have the soul. But the soul is at the same time this limitless energy that is everywhere. What happens when the soul enters the body? There was one example written in the book Soul Integration by Saul Rachel. I know this guy. And he was explaining how when the soul is coming into the body is the same. You can imagine it as your body right now trying to squeeze into a peanut. So as you can tell, the peanut is much, much, much smaller than you are. So there is no way that the whole of you will fit into the peanut. So let's say that maybe this part of my finger would fit into a peanut. So if this peanut now becomes new me, and I just lay down here on like as a peanut and I'm not able to do anything, how do you think this peanut would feel? Well, the thoughts that come up as our transition into the soul, into the body, so the soul enters into the body, the first thought that's come up are, what did I do wrong? Why do I deserve this? I must prove that I'm worthy of getting out of here so that I can still be limitless and enjoy this beautiful, limitless space. And I must have done something wrong, and I'm probably not good enough. And, it's all this pain happening from soul entering this body. So this is where I believe that it's like the first limiting beliefs that we have. And why do I believe this is true is because when people say it's about, let's say, when people say it's about your family, it's like you get all the beliefs from your family, from your mother, from your father. The reason why I don't totally buy into that is because we all have them. And there's been so many people that are like, you look at them and you see like, oh, they're really great parents, but no, they're still they're still engraving the same limiting beliefs into their children. Why? Because there's been a seed that was planted as soon as you were born. And then everything that is happening afterwards is just keep on growing this seed of like, I don't feel good enough. I hope this was clear. Let me see if I can go into the comment section if there was anyone commenting anything. Oh, I can't, can I? No, I can't go into the comment section. Anyway, I'll just keep on going. If you have any questions or anything on this, just write in the comment and I'll answer afterwards. So this is the first one, the original cause. And it's something that it's the first thing that we should heal, because I would say that it's like, we could call it like this. We could call it like the primal programming of ourselves. And this is something that is so primal that I'm 100% sure that if I ask any of you, you all say that, yes, I have felt this at one point in my life. I have felt that I'm not good enough. I have felt that I'm not deserving this. I have felt that I need to prove myself. I have felt that I need to sacrifice myself. And this is something that is so ingrained within us that then, of course, because we all have it, we just keep on triggering each other with it. So then we have the second one, which is like, I put it here, the reference of what could be. I feel like this is kind of like a positive belief that we also get from our soul as like the original one. Because if you look at it from when we were limitless soul and we enter into this body, this limitless soul knew how to love, how to be compassionate, how to forgive. If we close our eyes and we try to imagine a world where everyone is compassionate, everyone is loving, everyone is super nice to each other, we can do it. And if we can imagine something like this, it means that we already have a reference for it, which means that we already experience it on some level. There is something within us that knows this. That's why when we are trapped into this body and we are trapped into this like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not okay, I'm not worthy, blah, 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 we are trying so hard to get back to the reference. We know how it feels like to be loved unconditionally, to feel love unconditionally all the time. And this is where it comes in that usually when we are trying to get love, we search it on the outside. But the only person that has a reference for us how to feel love is that inner person within you that we often like don't even allow to come out. We don't even allow ourselves to tap into this stream of love. That's why we're doing meditation today in the end. If you're going to stay with me all the way until the end, you're going to enjoy the beautiful meditation. So yeah, so this is actually when things are happening within you, when you tap into that, that's when you can feel the unconditional love no matter what's happening around you. And we can only do that because we have a reference of it. If we wouldn't know what it's like, then we probably wouldn't be able to imagine it. Then we came to the third one, which is like the one that most of the people is talking about, which are our parents. So we have, since our parents used to be children of, they still are children of their parents, and their parents used to be children of their parents, it's actually something that's been keep on running in our ancestor line. And we use, like when we raise a child, not me because I don't have one yet, But when we are raising a child in general, we are used to this rewarding system, which is like, if you're gonna behave this way, we're gonna give you a gift, or we're gonna buy you this toy. And what we don't realize when we are doing this rewarding system is that we are actually teaching others, or they have taught us, that only a certain behaviors are okay. And the way our brain has basically translated this is that only if we behave in a way that we are expected to behave, we're gonna receive love. We're gonna be worthy of love. And if we go into the bottom of every goal of anything that we want to ever achieve, we all want to be loved. That's the main cause the main reason why we're doing everything. But the interesting thing is that, like, we are just believing that things will come from external, and that's how we've been taught, and that's how our parents used to be taught. And that's why we are competing for this love, for this attention. And here is a very important thing that I have to mention. Love, and in general, the life energy, the chi, like Chinese people are calling it, this chi, life energy, kundalini energy, whatever you want to call it. We can only get it in two ways. One way is that we get it from above. This is kind of like imagining that your infinite soul is up there and is sending you down all the energy that you need. And if you meditate, if you do yoga, if you run, go to the gym, whatever it is that excites you, whatever it is that it's like yours, that it's like awaken the spirit. I don't know if the gym was a good example, but maybe for some people. But something that awakes your spirit, that's when you channel this energy and it comes down to you. And then the second way to get this energy is by getting it from another person. So you can guess how many people has learned how to get the energy for themselves. Probably, like, I don't even know what kind of percentage, maybe 10% if I'm optimistic. So that means that 90% of people have never learned how to get this energy from above, from this infinite stream of energy, infinite stream of love. So the only way to get this energy is through another human being. What this means is that we are living in a very competitive world when people are craving the energy of another human being. We call it they want likes. We call it they want attention. We call it they want money. In the end of the day, everyone just wants this chi energy. They just want this infinite love. And we just... I could say that we just mask it in all the different ways. So this is something that it's also influenced by our collective history. What does collective history means? It's things that happen to our society as a collective society. So all the wars that we used to have, how it was not okay to speak your truth because you shouldn't stand out because they can kill you. All those things, they just slowly store into your beliefs. And then we have the last one, it's personal traumas, which is actually just a manifestation of all the others. So once we start with this original cause, and then we have our parents influencing us, and we basically mirror whatever the parents believe, we start believing. If that's a very good example, if like a mother wants to teach her daughter how to love herself, she can say all the nice things about her, like, you're so beautiful, you're so loving, you're so wonderful. But what the daughter will actually hear is what the mother says to herself. That's a tricky one, because it's like we usually believe that we just want kids or whoever we are interacting with to just believe nice about themselves. But no, we people, we copy the energy. That's why when you are listening to this, it doesn't really matter what I say. It doesn't really, like, of course there is like something about the words, but in general, what you will leave with after this webinar, you will copy my energy. You will copy my perception. And from some reason, tomorrow things that you will look at and you will observe in your life will look a little bit different. Why? Because I've done the work to have a different perception of the things, and you will get some of this energy and you use it on your life tomorrow and the day after and so on. So this is how these things work. That's why, like, when I start to realize this, I stop obsessing with slides or trying to make things perfect, because it just doesn't work. Okay, so here are the 3 main limiting beliefs around love that I already kind of tell you, but not exactly. And those are the 3 limiting beliefs that we will focus the most on today. So we have that love is coming from external source. This is something that it's like, it's everything. That's why I said all the likes, everything that we want. It's like money, attention from others, love from our partner or whatever. We believe that these things are coming from the external. I believe that external situations can multiply our love, but they cannot start it. We cannot start feeling the love within if we don't have capacity to feel it. Let's say if you have, I'll give like a very extreme example. If you have someone that has just a broken heart and you try to motivate them, you try to maybe get them a puppy because puppy makes everyone feel love, or you take them somewhere where it feels like super loving or whatever. No matter what it is, that person feels that it is lack of love because they choose to feel that way. And no matter what external situation happens, they will feel that way. The only thing that can change it is if the ex is coming back. But that's something that the person has decided. So just to explain it a little bit more, it's like when we have a heartbreak, it's like we had this person that used to be our source of love. So in our brain, the limiting belief that was created was, this person is my source of love. So when this person goes away, our perception is, my love is gone. With him, with her, my love has disappeared. Only if he or her comes back, we will feel the love again. So what is happening in this situation is that we believe that love will only come from in that form, that will only come like with this person. And that's why we stop it. And that was our excuse for us to feel love. So in general, we can use any kind of excuse to feel love. Let's say if you really practice this, if you really get away, or you try to dissolve all the rules that you have around love, and you really start practicing that love is unconditional, which means you can wake up and feel super loved just because you woke up, because you are alive. How you can tap into that is simply by closing your eyes and connecting with that love within you. And the more you do these things, the more you will see that every single rule that you have, love is only coming in this way, love is only when this is happening. Every single rule is a blockage for you to feel love. So every rule that goes away, it's opening up space for you to feel it. I hope this was clear. So I knew that these slides are not working well. I'm just keep on talking about what I have written. Okay, so we have another one, limiting belief is that we have to sacrifice for love, or that we have to earn it, which is coming from that we are not worthy of love as we are. So we just feel like we have to earn it, we have to work harder, we have to do it harder, we have to do. And this is often, like when it comes to relationships, is often that we feel like we need to chase another human being. And there's another one that's very related to this one, which is we need to prove that we're good enough so that we are worthy of love. Let's go on, because otherwise we will run out of time. Okay, so how are those beliefs manifested in life? This is something that I already posted in on IG stories, if you have seen it. I'm not gonna go through it, but it's just like, so you can have the idea. It's, if you have those kind of beliefs that you feel like, you know, you always have to chase love, you always need to work hard to get it, it's very likely that you will be super pleasing to people. You always want to do whatever they ask you. You always try to do things based on other people's expectations. It's going to be very hard for you to stand out, because standing out means like, hey, you don't know if they're going to love you for standing out or if they're going to hate you for standing out. So you better not stand out. You know, so it's funny, because with this, like if we dive at this deeper into this topic, we see that it's influencing every single thing that you do in your life. How you run your business, how are your relationships with your coworkers, with your partners, with everyone. Also, how you are taking care of your body. Everything is connected to this. And here are some very important as well. Usually if we have those limiting beliefs, because I realize that not everyone is having them in the same way. And also those three main limiting beliefs, they are manifested in different situations. Usually, like the way I'm seeing it is that you that are here, because you are attracted to my energy, which means that you're probably having similar issues than me. We tend to overly please people. That's why we often attract people with narcissistic traits, people that are gonna manipulate us, people that are gonna use us, people that are gonna do whatever it takes to get whatever they want from us. And it's something that it's like, it breaks my heart to see this whole thing happening so often, especially among women, that we then believe that love will heal anything. So if you had an experience that you were from loving family, or that you believe that love is the cure of everything, it can also often happen that you attract someone with like very wounded inner self and with very manipulative traits, and you just believe that if you love them hard enough, they're gonna change. And this is often what's also happening, is like we believe that when other people will change to be a certain way, that's when we're gonna feel love. So if you've been married for a while and your partners all of a sudden stop giving you attention, it's like, when this partner will bring me flowers, I will feel love. And then they bring you flowers. Now let's make another rule. When this partner of mine will take me out for a date, I'll feel loved. Then this happened. Let's make another rule. And it's interesting because we don't see that we are doing it. It's totally running on subconscious, But we are actually, with every single rule that we are saying to ourselves, we are actually saying to ourselves, we are not allowed to feel love unless all the surroundings are exactly as I want them to be. It's hard to live that way. You cannot control your surrounding. The funniest thing is that the only thing that you can control is how you feel. So with everything that we are doing here, we are gonna try to control more the internal world, because if you control how you feel, everything on the external will change. So now we have 3 steps to heal the love gene. I just want to change. I don't know if, okay, it doesn't matter. This is not the 3 steps. This is just what I wrote. 3 steps are coming. I said that the awareness is key, which is like 100% true. Like, I feel like awareness is like being aware of what is blocking your love is the only way to get rid of those blockages. If you don't know that they're there, you don't even know. You don't even know that you're not feeling love. You just you just crave it, you just chase it. And that's why the awareness is like number 1 step that we want to have. And then I said that you have to have courage to look within yourself. The reason why I wrote this before the 3 steps is because they're not so easy steps. Okay, so the first step is to identify your love gene, which means that we have to know what we believe about love. We have to be aware of it. We have to understand it. And this is something that it's like, it might sound simple, it might sound easy, but if I ask you, like, what is love? What do you believe around love? And you take a piece of paper and you start writing down, it's usually like, I don't know, you know? It's like we are running things on autopilot, and we just, so many things are just happening and we are not really aware of it. But if we are actually looking into it and diving into it and allowing our subconscious beliefs to slowly come into our consciousness, that's when things can start changing. So to identify, it's actually easier to start with, like, not to actually start with what do you believe around love, but it's easier to start with questions of what, like, let's say here, who did you have to be to receive validation from your parents? So basically here is, who do you have to be to receive love from your parents? Like I said before, let's say if you had to be, I'll give an example, very busy parents that they always wanted to work, they were always stressed, they were always like, just like, you know, working on computer, and every time that you were too loud, they start shouting on you like, oh, leave me alone, like, I have to work, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. It's like, what comes in here is that you have to be quiet to be worthy of love. And what is the result? It's usually that we have a very low self-esteem, because when we are surrounded with people, it's better to be quiet. It's better to not stand up. It's better to, like, not let people even notice you. This is real. Like, this is like so interesting, because you see different people, and it's like we might start with the same beliefs. We might all start with like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of love, I don't deserve it. But the way it's manifesting, it's very fascinating, because it's like with every single human being, it's manifesting in a different way. And usually to really come to the, like, the bottom or to the core of the situation is that we have to look at our childhood and what actually influenced us at that time. And here is like, who you shouldn't be to be accepted. So it's what you shouldn't do. And this is a projection here that I have written, who isn't worthy of your love. So before we go, projection, what is projection? Or I'll start with shadow work. It's written here as well. What is shadow? So we have, when we were born, we had all the different traits. Like we were laughing, we were crying, we were loud, we were angry, we were just expressing all the emotions freely. We did whatever we wanted. We were just like, parents were saying like, no, don't do this, no, don't do that. But in the beginning, the child is not listening. But because we've been taught so many times, don't do that, don't do that. And then because we did something, we were punished for it. We learn that some of our traits are okay to have, and some of our traits are better that they are not there. And what happens is that those traits that we say like, oh, it's better if they're not there, we push them into a corner and we push them into a shadow, and we don't ever want to look there. And what happens is that even though we're pushing it away, this shadow, these traits that we are denying are still there, and they're still running our life. And the issue is that because we are not aware of it and we are not seeing it, they have to come up in a certain way. So there is a, I would say like a law, or just like a cool physical law that exists, not directly physical, but it's, let's say, quantum physics of projection, which is like, I don't really know how to explain this. It's like, but in general, everything that we see is created in our brain. It's like it's created in here, in our eyes. We see it, we interpret it through our brains. And it's like a hologram that you are seeing here. And this hologram is totally perceived as you are within. So let's say you walk into a room and there are two people fighting. And let's say you walk into the room with your friend, and your friend is like, oh, they're fighting, whatever. And they just go away and they don't notice, or they don't pay attention for it. And you come in, and all of a sudden you start feeling anxious. You start feeling like, oh, why are they fighting? They shouldn't be fighting here. What's wrong with those people? So what happened in this situation is your friend that came in and had zero emotional effect, zero emotional like response to that situation, they were fine. They were just observing it from like neutral perspective, versus you that came in, you had a charged emotional reaction, which means that you projected something to the situation, which is often like a memory from your childhood when you didn't want your parents to fight or something like this. And this is this situation that is happening is telling you something about your inner world. So what is shadow work is actually to look at the things, emotions, or basically traits that people have that are that you are reacting very emotionally towards them. So it's like anything that is like super emotionally charged for you, it's a projection, in a good way or in a bad way. So if you see something bad happening, you get the bad emotions, it's like projection. If you see something very good happening, or see someone having, you know, they're so beautiful, they're so loving, they're so kind, wow, 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 it means that it's your projection, and that you in your shadow, something that you are denying, also have so much love, so much kindness, so much compassion for this world. So this is a shadow work. So it's basically you ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me? So when it comes to identifying the love gene, what we should do is we should look at our like relationship that we have with parents or with siblings and see what are the emotions or actually the events where we feel that it's super, super charged, and then take a look at what's happening within us. It's a bit complicated to explain in a very short term, but it's something that is like, I would say it's the most important work that you can do. Look into your inner world, focus within, see what's happening. Why is it important? Because once you shift something within, your whole perception, everything you see is totally changed. And that's what we want, right? We sometimes we feel like we want to, I don't know, change our job, change our place where we live, change our partner, change everything that is external. But hey, if you just start changing this thing within, there's going to be things changing by default, by itself, without you even doing anything. That's what we want. So we have a second one. No, we're good on timing. Second step is healing your love pattern. When we are looking at the love pattern, it's like it's usually something that is running in the family. It's interesting, but if you look at your relationship with your parents, and then you look at the relationship of their parents, the romantic relationship that they had, it's usually repeating. So if you have parents that have been divorced or they've been in a very unhappy marriage, chances are that you are getting, not that this will happen to you, but it's like, if you're not going to work on yourself, this is what's happening with you as well. And it's kind of like the generation before us is always the example of what is happening. We can see our parents and we can get so triggered because we know exactly what they shouldn't do. And we are the expert for their relationship. Like, oh, you shouldn't behave that way and you shouldn't behave that way. And you should both, focus on yourself and grow or whatever. But that's projection as well. That's actually this pattern telling you everything about yourself. So when you are wanting to heal your pattern, it's very important to look into what's happening. So the family and the love patterns that you are connected with, like people that you are interacting, what is their love situation, and then looking into all of your previous partners and the current partner and all of your, I would actually say, looking at all of the relationships that you have with the opposite sex. So I had like a client that was actually, we were working on this healing the love gene, and she had a terrible boss. And he was just like, he was very narcissistic. He was very bossy, but in a way that like she always felt like no matter what I do, nothing is good. And the funniest thing was that this boss was actually super nice and gentle to everyone else except her. So she was always like in front of everyone listening, and all those things. So when we look at her situation, we saw that this is actually like she was triggering guys with authority because she was very put together and she know what she wants. And it's like she had like this constant fight. And what actually came out was that she was having this situation projected on so many other people in life and so many other guys, that it wasn't necessarily connected to the romantic relationship. But after we did the healings, she was just like, she said that I'm gonna quit the job by the end of the year, and it was like beginning of the year. And then like I think in 3 weeks she was like, I quit the job. I was just like, I came there and I was like, you know what, I quit, like in the movie. So I was very happy for her. But it's like, it's interesting because it's not like we think that it's like love patterns that are connected to only our romantic partners, but in general they are like everywhere. So yeah, we have, okay, and then we have another important one, which I feel like I already mentioned. What kind of partner's action make you believe that you're not loved? Or I actually mentioned what kind of partner actions are making you believe that you are loved. So this is another way of putting it, like, what are your rules behind love? So if a partner does this and this and this, it means that they don't love me. It's like, I know there are situations, I'm not saying that all the partners are great, but I'm saying that every single partner that you attract for a reason. I used to attract narcissistic partners for a lot of time in my life. And all I've been getting back is like that feeling of like, no matter what I did, no matter how much I tried to chase them, no matter how much I tried to like prove that I'm worthy of love, it was never enough. I was never enough. And it's like, those are just like the things when you don't really, or should I say, like, you don't really recognize until you're out of it. You know, when you're when you're suffering, when you're really believing like that's the one, if I'm not having this person, I'm dying. This is wrong. I know I'm not supposed to say like what's right, what's wrong, but it's like this romantic idea that we had, this Hollywood that created for us idea of like ideal partner who's gonna complete us, who's gonna give us everything we need. That is so far from the truth. You can have your ideal partner, they can love you from the bottom of your heart. You only accept as much love as you're willing to give yourself. That's when we come to the third part, forgiving yourself wholly. That's the hardest, the most painful job that you have to do if you want to be free from needing external love or validation of approval. And on the other hand, I feel like you cannot go without this work. So how this work actually works. Basically, it's just diving deep into the emotions, or I would say starting with like events that are charged. So events that are supercharged with any of those emotions that are written here. So let's say you remember an event when you were 10 years old and you did something wrong and you feel tremendous guilt and you were punished for it. And then you were trying to, like you were saying to yourself, why did you do that? Like, why didn't you do something else? You're so bad. You're so mean. You're not, no. All those things, getting back into it and not just seeing it, but actually feeling it. And that's the part that most of the people are not willing to go to. That's why I feel like this healing villaging is a lifetime journey, because it's impossible. We cannot hold, I mean, putting your limiting beliefs in your head. If you believe it's possible, it's totally possible. But anyway, it's like, we have to be gentle with ourselves. And I feel like that's why I'm saying that it's impossible, because once we make a belief that, you know, I'm going to start doing this work and I'm going to dive into these emotions and I'm just going to like, you know, quickly pass through them. It's not working like that. It's usually like when something pops up, it's like you would have an emotion of like a bubble of emotion. Let's say this is guilt. And this guilt is stored within my body somewhere. And it's a bubble, which means that it's not leaking out. I don't want this guilt to ever come out. I stored it there. I don't ever want to look into it. Now that I'm doing this work, I'm realizing that I'll have to look into this guilt. What that means is that I'll slowly open up this bubble. But what will happen when I open up this bubble? It's like it will just start pouring out. And usually, a lot of times people are, when they're in it, when they're in the cleansing period, they just want it to be done. Like, can it be done, please, already? I know a lot of people that are watching this can relate. Like, can we just finish with this work already? But here's something that I believe is what gives this life meaning. I feel that it's all about feeling fully. It's not even about feeling love all the time. I'm using this trick to get you here so that you start feeling fully. You want to feel love, that's perfect. But in order for you to feel love, you have to start and learn how to feel fully. What does that mean? All the spectrum, every single emotion. I feel like emotions are like colors. You cannot have this life without yellow color. Yeah, but yellow is guilt. I don't want to feel guilt. Oh, it's like, no, if you want to have this beautiful, vibrant life with everything, you want to feel everything. I have a proof for that. When you're going to, like a roller coaster, or when you're going skydiving, what is the first emotion that you feel? Tremendous fear. It's like, it's insane how much fear you're feeling at that time. And you still want to do it. Why? Because you know that if you are allowing yourself to go this far into a fear, you're going to go this far into euphoria and excitement and joy. And this is how life is. It's like a swing. If you allow yourself to go this hard in pain, you go this far in joy. And this is where most people are. It's like, oh, let's just suppress all the emotions and let's just pretend that we are all happy. And life is not working that way. And I promise you, the more you go into a negative emotion, the more the swing will go on the other side. So just imagine the love that you feel right now and you think you know how to feel love, or happiness and you think you know how to feel happiness. If you're gonna allow yourself to go into a negative emotions, you will feel way bigger and stronger love and happiness that you have ever felt before. How do I know that? Trust me, I tried thousands of times. And it's always happening. It's always like behind those painful emotions where I feel like I'm gonna die if I keep on feeling this way. All of a sudden, it's like everything shifts. And what's happening, and why is this like not like a, because people are saying, yeah, but then it's another one coming and it's like a endless goal. It's endless thing. I always say that I feel like every single time you heal something, every single time you let something out, it's like your vibration rise a little bit higher, which means that you're already on a higher base than most of the people. And then every time you go a bit higher, a bit higher, a bit higher. And when you drop, this is still your base vibration. This is still where you're most of the time. And yes, it's true that you become open for emotions, which means that you feel more. And sometimes that also means when there are days like today, when big shifts are happening on the planet, all of a sudden our body's just like, ugh, like you feel it because you feel all the shifts in the energy. But I still believe that that's the beauty of life. I don't believe in like being blind and just saying to yourself, you know what, everything is fine, everything is perfect, everything is just so loving. It's like, no, be real with yourself. Face things that you have to face. And now that we've come this far, the real question is how to face it. I hope you don't mind if I make this a bit longer. I mean, we started late, so in the end, it's gonna be the same. Oh, this is one more thing that I have. Basically, the results of what happens if you heal the blockages of love. It's like, first thing is definitely like feeling whole and complete. Like, if you have all those blockages within you and all those rules, like, oh, this is not, if this is happening, it's not okay. It's like, it's so hard to live like that. It's like super stressful. Of course you feel stressed then, if there's so many rules that are actually ruling your life and you're not able to be who you are because you've been taught that if you will show some, I don't know, anger, no one will love you. That's bullshit. You have to show some anger. It's healthy. It's like all emotions are okay. So I hope you went through this a little bit. It's just like, if you heal this, it's like you don't rely anymore on other people. You don't see other people as your source of love, which means like if you want to disappoint someone, that was a big one for me. And you just feel like, you know what? I don't want to follow those rules because I don't feel good with them. And you know, by saying this or doing that, you will disappoint some people that believed in you and thought that this is how you should live your life. You have to accept that you will disappoint them. And when you actually do, you don't feel so bad because you know that they are not your source of love. And you know that if you don't disappoint them, who are you disappointing? Yourself. So it's all of those things. And it's like, if you want to cultivate this love within you, it's only possible if you know what's blocking it and what's preventing you to feel it. So that's why I decided to like, oh, let's just see now first. Wait, let's see, where can I go to? Remote control. I don't think I can go into the actual chat. Oh, chats. Do we have chats here? No, I don't see the chat. Okay, maybe I have to stop the share to see the chat. Okay, I'll just leave it for now. And then come when I stop the share, I'll take a look at the chat. Never mind, let's go on. I'll be fast. Okay, play. What did I do now? Okay, so because I know that this work that I just mentioned, it's not easy to do it by yourself. It's not like, what am I doing? Sorry. It's not easy to dive within those emotions by yourself and to work hard and like, I mean, it's painful sometimes. And if you don't have a support system behind it, if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know who to ask if something is popping up and you don't know what it means, it's really hard. And I never done this work by myself. I always had either a coach, a healer, someone that was next to me that guided me, or when I was more into it, I was mainly doing my work by myself, but I still had someone that I could bounce the ideas off or just tell what's been happening so that it was easier. I'm sorry if I have all those things open. I don't know how to close it. So now I don't know if you see everything, but for those of you who want to dive deeper in the whole healing of the love gene and basically doing everything that we said, I'm just gonna have it like this. I don't know what's happening. Stop. Oh, chat, look at chat. Yes, okay, good. You see me too, good. Thank you, Nicole. Oh, technology. Everything is fine. No, I can be angry as well. now I wanted to remove this little button, and now I had another one coming up. Just, I don't know what you see right now, but I will open this and just go for as it is. Okay, I think it's better this way. Yeah. So for those of you who want to dive deeper into healing the love gene and actually coming to the core of what are your love patterns, which means you have to dive deep into all your exes that you don't want to talk about and think what happened in those relationships, overcome, basically open up the wounds from the family, from what happened in your family, which is also not so nice. And the reason why I'm saying this right now, because I don't want to sugarcoat it for you. It's not something that it's like a easy peasy work, but it's much, much easier when you have a support and you have a guidance and you know how to do it. That's why I'm now summing up Heal the Love Gene course in 6 weeks. I know I saw some people here that's been on Heal the Love Gene, like the first ever version of this program that I was actually creating. And at that point, Heal the Love Gene was 1 week. We had 3 calls, we had 3 intense work to be done. But even though it was just 7 days, basically, people are having incredible results. But now I decided, like, I've done a lot of work since then. This has been done, like, the last time I run Heal the Love Gene was more than a year ago. And I've done most of the work on my love gene in the past year, being in a long distance relationship, and moving back with my parents, which also trigger a lot of childhood issues. And that's what changed everything around my internal self, around love. And now this program is summed up in 6 weeks. And what we are doing in these 6 weeks is, I don't know if you read this here, but it's basically you are going to be guided how to dive deep into yourself and go through all those steps that I mentioned here. So we are going deep into, like, shadow work. We are doing that. Oh yeah. We're going to evaluate your past partners, see everything that's happening there. We're gonna do the actual, like, what I love about this course the most is, like, the healings that we have, which is here, the next slide, I think. We have 3 gorgeous, beautiful healings. One of them is that, like, energetically, you have a lot of soul fragments that you left with ex-partners, you left with other people that you had charged relationship with, and all those energy that you lost everywhere. It's like, if you don't collect it back, if you don't get it back, you lost it. And there's one healing that I love. I've done it so many times by myself, which is that we're actually getting everything back and restoring you in this free, beautiful energy. Then we are doing changing of limiting beliefs on a subconscious level, where we are going deep, deep, deep into your brain. It's like a healing meditation visualization, where you open up your computer, you look into the old books where you don't want to look, but you look into it, you see it, and you change whatever you want to change. Basically, usually we change the emotions that were charged around it. Because if we heal something from the past, what's happening is it doesn't come up anymore in the future. So if we let go of something that's been like a trauma from the past, the trauma won't keep on coming back now. This has been proven with me and so many of my clients and so many other people that are doing healings. It's a work that it's actually creating the lasting results. And I feel like one of the most important things about this program is forgiveness exercises that you're about to do. We're going to do the mirror work. We're going to do the there's one healing where you're going deep into your stories that you're saying to yourself and you look at all those stories and you unclog it and you really dive into what have you been saying to yourself. Because ladies and gentlemen, if you are thinking that you're doing the self-love, the real self-love is about what you're saying to yourself. And this is only working if you're saying nice things to yourself, which comes from forgiving all of your mistakes that you ever done. If you're holding on your mistakes, if you have charged emotions from the past, it's so hard to let go of the guilt. I know, because I've been there. Then I'm also sending some bonus material where you're gonna have meditation where you are able to cut the cords with your soul contrast. We're also going to talk about the different types of relationship, karmic relationship, soul contract. Then we have a co-creative relationship. We have, I don't know what else, but it's like a lot of those things as well. And in general, I just feel like it will give you a totally new perspective on how you see your love life, how you see your family. And that's been a huge part of it. It's actually my parents are currently watching this webinar, and that's something that it's still shocking to me, because I feel like everything that I've done, I feel like the biggest work is shown at my home. And I've been living abroad for the past 5 years, but I moved back home in December, and I moved back into my parents' house because we live in such a gorgeous area that I didn't want to leave and go somewhere else. And it was actually, in the beginning, it was very challenging because you get all the triggers back. You know, it's like all the small things that trigger you. But what I realized is, like, if I'm moving out, it's again like trying to run away from it. And I imagine it in a way of like, okay, if I have kids and they feel triggered, do I want them to just leave and try to go away from me? Or do I want them to communicate those things with me and heal the relationship? And I was like, heal the relationship. I want to heal the relationship. I want to have as beautiful a relationship as I can have with my parents, because I feel like that's what's actually valuable in this world. And yeah, this is something that once you understand your love language, and love gene, and you understand how the things, why are you behaving in a certain way, you also understand why your parents are behaving in a certain way. And once you understand them, it's so much easier to actually love them and forgive them as well. I'm really nervous of all these things here, but anyway. Then we have, okay, so some of the things about the program. The program is officially launching on 21st of November, and it lasts 6 weeks. So basically it ends exactly on the end of the year. I feel it's perfect because December is time for family, it's time for love, it's time for connecting. And you will see, once you start working on yourself, you have a desire to talk with people around you. You have a desire to talk with people that are like, especially the family and people that are very close to you. And why not using December to actually heal those relationships that you have with yourself and the close ones, and start New Year's totally new. And once, like, this is also one of the things that I love to say, once you heal this situation that used to be happening, and this pattern, and like, oh, I'm always guilty, I'm always not good enough, I'm always what can happen is, once you heal that, you start everything that you start doing afterwards. Like if you start a business, if you start, like, I don't know, have a new relationship or whatever it is, you are actually like, you know, starting from a whole new vibration. And whatever you're doing afterwards is attracted from your new vibration and not your past one anymore. So yeah. Okay, let me go on. So this is what's included. Can you please go away? Mute my audio? No. Unpin video? No. Okay. Anyway, it doesn't go away. Whatever I do. Removed. Oh, no. Okay. I removed one thing. So what's actually included in the whole program and the way it's going to be worked? So we have, once it's open, so even if you're enrolled right now, it's going to open in 21 of November, and it's running 6 weeks, and you will receive every single week you receive a video, which is going to be like a 60 minutes coaching video where I'm going to explain everything about this topic, the topic that we are covering this week. And then you're going to have a homework assignment where you're actually going to work with your inner stuff. You're going to get like a little questionnaire where you dive deeper, you go into yourself, you try to understand yourself. And every 2 weeks, which is basically like, I would say like I structure a program in the way that the first 2 weeks are connected to each other, second 2 weeks connected, and third 2 weeks connected to each other. So after the first 2 weeks, we are having a live Q&A session like this. The only difference is gonna be that it's probably gonna be you have camera and you'll be able to interact with me. So it's actually a call where we are having a group coaching, we are discussing things, we're going through everything. So you're having me live. You can talk about, hey, I had this situation, this is what came up, and we're gonna go deep within. This is like super valuable. So we have 3 of those. And then we have, then you have healing meditations as well, which are usually like longer meditations from 30 to 45 minutes. Where we are doing the deep healings. And then you have bonuses, like I said, there's extra meditation and everything. And the total value, and I promise I put just lower price, like the minimum price for those things, the total value would be $3,000. But I'm not gonna charge you $3,000. I am charging, let's see. I decided that the regular price for the course is going to be $499. So that's everything included, but only until this Sunday. So if you are purchasing it before Sunday midnight, you're getting the extra $100 off, which means don't mind here that it says 200 coupon, because 200 is for a personalized course where you're actually getting everything that I said right now, plus 2 one-on-one healing sessions with me. And that's when you get, like, instead of $1,000, you get $799. And then you also have an option to pay in installments, which is basically 2 payments for $275, or now that it's discounted until this Sunday, until midnight, you have 2 payments for $225. And that's everything included. And you go on a journey with me for 6 weeks, and it's gonna be super fun. It's gonna be super excited. And also it's something that I feel, why I feel so deeply passionate about this course is because of my personal work that I did this year and how I feel different within me. And it cannot go into words, because I was a big time victim. Like, I was always blaming others, like, for everything they did. In relationship, I only knew codependent relationship, which is like, yeah, if you're not behaving that way, oh, it's not gonna work. It's like, I cannot even tell you how different it is right now. But I guess you are getting the vibe, you're getting the energy, and that's what I want. And I want you to make a decision based on the vibe, based on the energy, based on how this feel aligned with you. Like I always say to people, you cannot force anything in life. So if you are forcing and, you know, trying to get the answer from everywhere and it's not gonna come, if something feels aligned, then it's the right time, then it's a perfect co-creation, and that's what I want. And I feel like with everything that I do and with all the people that I'm working with, the main priority for me is that we feel this connection with ourselves, and that we feel connection within the group, because that's what is multiplying the whole experience. And I feel like one thing that I have to mention is also that you will be with other people, and that we're gonna talk and we're gonna meet new people and interact, and this time it's gonna be international, which makes me super excited. So this is it. I'm gonna send you the link after this webinar where you're gonna get all those details. If you wanna purchase it, if you have any extra questions, just let me know. But for now, I'm gonna stop the share. Let's see, new share, stop share. Here we go. Okay, hello. Let's see. Hello. Oh, that's a very good question, Nicole. Thank you for asking. That was actually like a question that I receive most of the time. Is this only for people that are single? No, I'm not even talking here about, I mean, of course, we're going to look into the relationships and everything that you do. And yes, this can help you attract your ideal partner. But if you have your ideal partner, you know that there are always room for improvement. You can always go into a next level. You can always feel better. And I feel like the main thing about this course is that we are building our self-love. We are building the way we perceive ourselves. It's not about other people. Other people are a consequence of what's happening within us. So the main focus will be within, no matter if you are in a relationship or if you are not in a relationship, it doesn't matter. What matters is that if you are ready for the next level, and you want to go on this journey with me, that will be it. So yeah, that's it for now. And now we're going to the fun part. Do anyone else have any questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna drink some water. This nose is really bothering me. Okay. So, what are we doing now is we're gonna meditate. I know you all love to meditate with me, because when we are doing it together, we are doing it deeper, because it's like, I feel like the energy multiplied. So, you ready? You ready? Okie dokie. Take this off. We don't have the gentle music now. So now for this part, you can just put your phone down or your computer down. You can sit on your chair, lay down, whatever you prefer. You don't need to watch. You have your eyes closed. And we're just gonna start with taking in the big, deep breaths. And we're gonna allow these breaths to slowly relax our body. Just breathe in and breathe out. I know your brain is currently wandering, have a lot of thoughts coming up, and you're just gonna allow them to float right in and right out. Just observe them, but don't focus on any of them. And we're gonna imagine our heart. And we're gonna go deep within our heart. We're gonna connect with the beating of our heart. And just notice how it's beating. And imagine that in the center of the heart, there is a beautiful pink light that has its origin within your heart. And it's first very small, but as you're focusing on it, it's getting bigger and bigger. Just focus. And you see how this beautiful light is slowly rising and getting bigger and bigger, and how this light is going from your heart to other parts of your body. And you see this beautiful pink light entering other organs, entering your arms, your legs, and you slowly see how this beautiful light is getting bigger and bigger, and it creates a bubble around you. And now your body is surrounded with this beautiful pink light. And you feel super protected and safe. And now we're gonna awake the love that is within your heart. And just imagine that you go back into your heart and you see the love that is there. And you see it in the end of the tunnel, in the end of the corridor. And before this love, there are many doors that are still closed. And what we're gonna do today is that we're gonna walk this corridor and we're gonna slowly open every door that blocks you from feeling love. So now just imagine that you're walking in this corridor and you come to the first door and you reach your pocket and there is a key and you unlock this door and open the door and you go deep within this love and you feel how this love is getting closer. You start feeling this love within you and you go further to the next doors and again you take the key, you unlock this door, you open it up and you feel how as soon as you open these doors you feel even more love. And you go even further, come to the next door, and again, you take the key, open the door, and you come to even more love. And you feel it. You feel it within you. You feel how this love is covering every part of your body as you accept yourself. And with every doors that you are unlocking, you become more closely connected to who you are, and you are even more accepting of who you are at your core. And we go on and we have one more doors left. And we unlock those doors. And this time we are gonna open it very slowly. And as we are slowly opening up the doors, you start feeling the love that is coming there, and what you see is yourself. You see that love, that someone, that something that was generating love within you is you. And you walk closer to yourself and you give yourself a beautiful, strong hug, the best hug you ever gave yourself. And you just hold yourself close and you feel the love and you feel it and you know that you are a source of it, that you are the very source of this love. And now, with this beautiful unlocked heart, you're gonna slowly come back into this body. You're gonna slowly start moving your fingers, moving your toes, and coming back into the room, slowly opening your eyes, and coming back to the present moment. This was beautiful. Thank you, everyone who took the time to spend it with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you feel more relaxed, more loved, that you are aware that you are carrying the love within you. And yeah, once again, if you want to keep on going on this journey with me, I'll be happy to have you within the 6-week program. But other than that, I wish you all the best. I'm grateful that you are here, and I hope that we talk again soon. So thank you guys, and see you soon. Ciao, ciao.